All right, lads, welcome back to me podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here. How are you? How you doing? Listen, thanks for coming on back. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. Subscribe, for the love of God. If you haven't subscribed by now, 262 episodes in, what's holding you back? Right? YouTube, Spotify, all the places where all the podcasts come from. Go ahead and subscribe. What's what's holding you up? Give me thumbs up, give me thumbs down. If you like it, tell me. If you don't, tell me also. I love a bit of feedback, even though I don't listen to it. But please, get interactive. Let's chat. Let's get involved on this. Come see me live coming up. I don't have that much to promote because I'm in the middle of new stuff, chiseling out new material, working through it, bombing hard with new material, turning it into to getting the coal and crushing it to try find a diamond in there. It's a lot of fun. But you'll check me out all over the New York City, Long Island. I'm around working on new stuff. But I got big shows coming up, right, where you get some of the good stuff. On July 24, 25, New Jersey, Point Pleasant, Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club. Come on down. Can't wait to get back down to the Jersey Shore. Minnesota, August. Hot August 9th and 10th. I am at the Minnesota Irish Festival with me good buddy Sean Finnerty. Both of us are going to be over there doing our thing. And August again, 26th, all the way to September 1st. That's going to be 9 shows in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to get back down to Myrtle Beach. I love it down there. Great time of year. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. 9 shows. Come see me at the Comedy Cabana. Comedy Cabana, go to comedycabana.com for your tickets. I have a lot of stuff to get through today, right? I got stuff to do. It is Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. I want to go out and do some things, so I got some stuff to get through. I even took notes down. That's how much I had to do today. That's how much stuff I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is the one thing about when you do a podcast at the end of the week. Pretty much everyone else has covered the topic, but we'll do it anyway. Justin Timberlake. I'm kind of sick of hearing about it. Can we just stop acting like this is such a big deal? First of all, yes, a DWI. It is a kind of scummy thing to do. The man could have killed somebody, right? And we're all out there siding against the cop. We're like, how dare that cop not know who he is? Young police officer doesn't know Justin Timberlake's library of music. Who gives a shit? Maybe if Justin Timberlake had said, hey man, you might have seen me in the movie Trolls, then the cop would have been, oh my God, I recognize the voice. Now that you say it, that's awesome. Let me close my eyes. Let me close my eyes and say something that Troll would say. Right? Maybe. But he doesn't know. So how about we don't side with the guy who could have potentially murdered somebody by driving over them in his car while intoxicated, and maybe we kind of start siding with the law on that one. Just that one at least, right? Give us that the cop is in the right for pulling over a famous person. And we know anything goes out in the Hamptons, right? And that's why it's a big deal. But also, why are people so upset about this? Right? Why are people so demented about this? When my day, I'm going to sound like an old person, but my rock stars, my musicians, a DWI is how you started the night. Is this how soft we've become? Is this how soft we are now that a DWI is the most outrageous thing? The guys I used to Ozzy Osbourne, got a ton of Ozzy stuff in the library there, biting the heads off bats, snorting ants off a pool deck, right? And the night ended with a woman face down in a swimming pool. That was a good night, man. And nobody gave a shit. Television's out through the hotel window, dead hookers, constantly dead hookers. Right? And now what? Now we got people like, oh my God, he had a few Chardonnays. Leave Justin alone. Now remember, leave Britney alone. Leave Justin alone. Who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit? Drinking water. No more Coca-Cola. This show is no longer sponsored by Coca-Cola. It wasn't officially anyway, but Coca-Cola, you're not sponsoring my show anymore because you ruined me. You ruined me shirt last week. I spilled some on it. There's a stain on it. It won't come out. Now this episode, I'm going to put my own sponsors on. This episode of Cheaper Than Therapy 262 is brought to you by Rhino Boner Pills. Just because rhinos are nearly extinct doesn't mean your boner has to. Right? That's who sponsors the show this week. Anyway, moving on. So let's move past that, okay? We're done with Justin Timberlake. Let's leave it alone. Sometimes people will do that. Be scumbags. Let's not side with the scumbags as we tend to do. Next thing I want to move on to, Star Wars, right? People have been messaging me like about, hey Mick, have you watched the new episode of Accolades or the new show Accolades? Now, for those of you who don't know who's not a Star Wars fan, I like Star Wars. I wouldn't consider myself a Star Wars fan because Star Wars fans are fucking psychopaths. They are absolute, they're like dog people, right? Now, not people who love dogs. I love dogs. You love dogs. We all love dogs, right? But dog people are different. The ones that have the bumper stickers with the paw. Who saved me? Who saved who? Or whatever. Fucking those psychopaths, right? Those psychopaths who bring their dogs into a restaurant and that kind of stuff. Star Wars fans are worse than them. So the new show Acolytes has come out, and if you've watched it, it is dog shit. It is written and directed and produced by a female, right? A female lesbian. You can't get a male lesbian, can you really? And she ticks all the box for lesbian appearance. I'm not being shallow. I'm not being sha-la-la-la-lo, but she is, right? And she now says to everybody, well, R2D2 is a lesbian, right? I didn't know robots. I mean, if anything, they were definitely gay, right? C-3PO, oh, my, I'm so gay. C-3, if you were to guess any character in Star Wars was gay, you were going to say C-3PO, right? Then you're also thinking, it's a robot. Robots don't have any sexual orientation. They're not into anything, so they don't have a dick or a vag. So, but she decides to think that now that R2D2 is a lesbian. Here's the weird thing about it, right? Here's what got Star Wars fans pissed off. This woman decided that she's going to hire a whole bunch of writers, and I'll get into the writers in a minute. She decided to hire a whole bunch of writers who have never seen Star Wars before. Now, isn't that interesting? So most of the Star Wars writers in the new Star Wars show have never seen Star Wars before. So they are writing stuff. They are writing stuff that doesn't make sense anymore. Like, they're going to put characters in it who weren't around 1,000 years. You watch interviews with some of these people and they'll say things like, oh yeah, when Darth Vader blew up the Death Star. Listen, I'm not a nerd when it comes to Star Wars, but we all know Darth Vader lived in the Death Star and it was blown up by Luke Skywalker. Again, I'm not going to sit here and fucking nerd out, but Star Wars fans are losing their shit. This is the time. If Trump wants to get elected this year, have him just come forward and go, Star Wars is terrible. They've ruined Star Wars forever. I'm not in a good Trumpy voice today. That's how Trump wins. He tells all the nerds that when I get elected, I'm going to bring back all your Star Wars favorites. I'm going to be just straight white Star Wars nerds. I'm going to leave an open platform for you guys to write the story for us. That's how Trump's going to win the election this year. He's going to win it by getting Star Wars nerds. But this fucking idiot never hired one person who's seen a Star Wars, who doesn't understand Star Wars. They're putting characters in it that didn't exist 1,000 years before the original Star Wars of people who walked into it. It's gone so woke now that they have these lesbian space witches. Lesbian space witches, which is what my dad used to call those two women who lived next door to us and you would carpool to school. Lesbian space witches. They were all in a circle being lesbians and casting spells on people in space. Lesbian space witches. Right? The show has gone so fucking woke now, and we'll talk about how woke it's got. It's got woke, right? Well, they said, Lando Calrissian, we all know Lando. Lando was pulled over too many times by stormtroopers. He was being profiled. So the stormtroopers, all white, pulled over the only black guy in the galaxy. Pulled him over. Not happy with it, right? That's why if you ever watch Star Wars and you listen to Han Solo and Lando Calrissian fight, I'm probably mentioning, I fucked his name up, as I heard it, I said it wrong. But Lando and Han Solo are always fighting over who really owns the Millennium Falcon. And I think that argument comes from is because Han Solo had to co-sign the loan for the Millennium Falcon for Lando. So that's why I think there's that confusion. They're both co-signers on it because Lando's credit was so bad. Hacky racist joke there, Mick, on a Sunday. That's fine. But I think Star Wars is being ruined, right? And I don't know what's going to take to come back, because now the runner of Disney, right, Kathleen Kennedy, she runs all this production, right? Now, I think Kathleen Kennedy, here's my theory on Kathleen Kennedy, is that her ex-husband was a big Star Wars fan, and he just spent more time with Star Wars. Like, he would make her dress up as Star Wars characters when they were fucking. I believe that, right? And in show, like, not like Princess Leia with the bagels on her ear, or the croissants on her ear. I mean, like, they probably make her dress up like the green, like all makeup, so she spent at least 4 hours fucking out of Paul's makeup on. It's his birthday, put those long green horny things. tentacles that would go down her back and down her shoulder, and her husband would fuck her dressed like that. And I think now when she took over Disney, this part of Disney, she goes, you know what? I'm fucking killing Star Wars, sick of it. And she's done it. She's done a great job. Star Wars is now dead. She has killed Star Wars. But where does all that come from? Funny story. So you may have seen it this week. Hopefully I know I'm not going to the one to break it, but maybe I broke it to you people. Maybe it's your first time hearing this. But there's a guy out there, he does a lot of undercover journalism. There you go, Mick, you got it right, you fucking dope. A lot of journalism, and his name is James O'Keefe, and James O'Keefe goes undercover, and he interviews people, and he got wires and that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff. So he sat down. He got footage of Michael Jordana. Michael Jordana is the vice president of Disney. Straight up said, and it's on camera, Google it, fact check it, I ain't lying, prove me wrong. He straight up said, Disney we no longer hire white people. We don't hire white people, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. He was on record saying, we no longer hire white people. We do not consider white people for the job. He even tells a story, and you can watch it yourself. He even tells a story where he had a black guy come in for an interview. He was half black, half white. Don't know which half. That walked in the door, which they saw. And they didn't hire him because he wasn't black enough. He didn't hire him because he wasn't black enough. Can you imagine that, black people? Think about this. You walk in, you're black, right? You walk in, you're already, I don't trust the system, man. Everything's been holding me down, right? Even though, come on, you guys are doing pretty well. It's kind of okay to be a black person this year, right? To get jobs, right? It's kind of like, oh, we don't want to say no, right? I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm not saying you're not qualified. Of course you might be, but good for you. Great time to be alive now, to be a black person, going for a job, going for anything really, and you're not black enough, apparently. Like, this guy wants that. He wants straight from the tribes of Africa, straight from the depths of Zimbabwe, right? Just fucking that. You're so black, you're purple. Like, that's how black you have to be to work at Disney now, right? You got to come from Zimbabwe. You got to come from those, you got to bring a spear, maybe. Just really sell it. Really sell your blackness to get in there. And he also said, this will also explain why Star Wars and Disney have fallen down tremendously. And listen, I'm someone who has a Disney tattoo. I'm a big fan of Disney. I fell in love with Disney years and years ago. I fell in love with the imagination, with the creativity, with reading Walt Disney stuff about the rejection he had, the I can't talk today, right? How hard he worked, he just fought, rejection after rejection, right? To build this place of magic, to create these amazing shows. That is the Disney I fell in love with. That is the Disney I got a tattoo on I got a Mickey Mouse on my dick. That's what I got tattooed. It's a mouse on a dick. That's what it is. And then you got to find the hidden Mickey. If you're a real Disney fan and you want to come to me and you go, oh, Mick Thomas, I hear you have a hidden Mickey. Go find it, right? So, yeah. So So here's what he said. He said he is hiring, over 30% of their writers are gay and trans. Again, listen, this is the shit and I talked about this last week. This is the shit that divides us, right? This is the shit that divides us again. It makes us seem like we don't love our gays in our community. We don't love our gays in our family. The gay people have such a horrible representation. It's just like a Christian or a Catholic or someone. One person might come across a horrible representation and brand them all in. And it's a great way to divide, right? And it's a great way to make people seem like they're a bigot. But it's working too, which is sad, right? And it's just shit like this. And now you bring in you're hiring them because they're gay. You're hiring them because they do love penises more than vag. And as a result of that, they write the penises into their shitty television shows. And the stock has dropped and the quality has dropped. So what you're telling people is you need straight white men to save your product. That's what people are getting from it. So there's a division there, right? There's just a division there, again, that you're creating that doesn't need to be there. That's fucking ridiculous. That wokeness, man, that you're forcing. Like, it's like Southwest this week too, right? Am I done with the Disney thing? I can move on from the Disney thing. I think I've covered everything about the Star Wars and how it's dead, and we don't need to, beat a dead Wookiee, beat a dead horse. Try to go something for the Star Wars nerds. Would have laughed at that one. But Southwest Airlines this week have now decided to call up older people, and I love Southwest Airlines. I fly 99% of all my flights. Southwest, heading to Myrtle Beach. Southwest, Minnesota. Southwest. I love Southwest. Big fan of it. Big fan of it, right? You don't have to go through the bullshit, pick your seat and all that. Just fucking get on. We're on the seat. Buckle in. Let's fuck off. I love it, right? Southwest have now, because of their new woke things, they're now they're not allowed to say the cockpit anymore. It's gone. Cockpit is gone. It's because they don't want the women upset. Women, have you ever been upset? Have you ever gotten on a plane and heard the word cockpit and said, I'm getting off, I'm walking. No, Sharon, I am walking to our mothers in Minneapolis. I am not getting on this plane because they said cockpit. I'm not doing it. It's it, right? Has one ever had a problem? Southwest are not allowed to say guys. Hey, you guys. You know, when you speak to a plural people, like in Ireland, I start my podcast, all right, lads. That means, I'm not talking to just men, I'm talking to men and women. And dogs, if you want to listen to it. A lot of celebrities, speaking of dogs, like, I don't want to go because it sounds like I'm name dropping, but a lot of celebrities this week have been following the old Mick Thomas here on the old Instagram. Get on that. Mick Thomas comedy, right? A lot of celebrities been liking the dog bit. It's weird. It's weird. I'm liking it. A lot of people, celebrities that I would have mocked in the past. And I'm like, shit, she likes me now? All right. She's kind of hot too, maybe. Now there's, you know what I mean? The bridge is being gapped. The bridge is being gapped, right? What's that, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something? There's a chance. Come see me. You will be within that degrees of Kevin Bacon just by being around me. And you can tell your people, and you win that game every Christmas. Every Christmas. So Southwest, you're not allowed to say cockpit. You're not allowed to say guys anymore because the women are upset. I have an idea, Southwest. How about you just stop the fucking doors from falling off, right? I don't care if you get under, you can call fucking us Irish people potato eaters, you can call us dirty micks, you can call us donkeys, let's call the Italians the grease balls, you can do all that. Black people, we know the list. Let's make fun of the Eskimos, Spanish people, Asians. Let's make fun of everybody. Just keep the fucking doors on and keep the engines running. Could you do that? And then I don't give a shit what you call anything. Get me to my destination safe. That's all I really care about at this stage. That's all I want from my airline, by the way. Like, if you pull up on an airplane and the price of the tickets were kind of reasonable, but like, thank you for flying Swastika Airlines. I'll get on. Right? I won't agree with your politics. I won't agree with your beliefs. But I'll get on. If the price is right. You're showing a good movie. If I'm flying to Florida, Minnesota, I'll get on. I don't care what you have. Just fucking keep the doors on and get me there safe for a reasonable price. That's all. I don't care. Unbelievable. And where does that come from? Where does all this stem come from, right? So let's talk about this. I don't want to get into politics right now, but again, Joe Biden, again this week, right? So we are on the verge. Possibly of World War III. Possibly. You're probably thinking, that is out of the realm of possibility, Mick. It is kind of, but also it's not, right? Why is it not Why is it not out of the realm of possibility? I'll tell you why. Because Vladimir Putin, who's just taken his Russian cruise down to Cuba, which I mentioned last week, right? He's now in North Korea talking to Kim Jong-un. Am I saying his name right? Both of them nuclear weapon holders. Both of them hate America. And they're meeting up, right? They're strategizing, having conversations, making plans, writing some shit down. What's our president doing? He's meeting with the cast of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. He's put the lights outside on the White House, so the White House is now a rainbow flag for this whole month, and he's meeting, him and Kamala are meeting fucking Queer Eyes for the Straight Guy. Don't you have do you guys work? Let me ask you that question, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You're fucking a handful of months away from an election. Election that, according to numbers, you're fucking drastically losing, by the way. Drastically losing, because we know now Trump, because of my idea, Trump has now got the Star Wars votes. You can't beat the Star Wars votes. Are you doing any work? Are you working at all? You're just having gays go walk around the White House giving press conferences about how fabulous their hair is. That's not a satire joke, everybody. That is happening. The long fucking, they're just these, and here's the thing, they're horrible representations of gay people. They're 5 walking cliche. I know a bunch of gay people, but I know 4 off the top of my head that are fucking just masculine guys that will rip your dick off. They just love cock. That's all it is. They outbench me, they outrun me, they look better than me, drive a better motorcycle than me, more manly than me. They just love a bit of cock. It's the only difference. It's the only difference. And you have these over-the-top, flamboyant, hacky, shitty, stereotypical representations of the gay community in front of the White House and in a fucking press conference. Oh my God, my hair is fabulous, point of order. Like, what the fuck are we doing, Joe? You have an election coming up. You're fucking it up for yourself, mate. I don't want to tell. Listen, I don't care. Here's the funny thing too. Here's how I know you're fucking up, because I think the White House listened to my episode last week. Ain't that funny? Remember I was talking about the draft? Right? How only the men are getting drafted and the feminists are out there going, oh my God, I'm a woman now. Here's my hair in pigtails. I'm not getting drafted. The White House announced this week, after listening to my podcast, that they are now going to you include women in the draft. So your daughters, your sisters, the mothers, the granddaughters are going to be sent to fucking fight Russia. The reason why, and I joked about it last week, right? The reason, and I'm for it, but I'm for leaving women out of the draft, right? Because I'm going to go to war. I'm going to go die. I'm going to be staring down the barrel of a gun. The last thing I want to do is just hear fucking someone nagging at me here, right? I don't want, stop giving all that, right? So women should have been left out of the draft. Real reason why they're left out of the draft, because if something happens to most of men, which usually happens in war, we need someone to repopulate. Right? And if a league of our own has taught us anything, they're going to make baseball even more boring. So they're going to make sports even more boring, right? Unless Caitlin Clark from the WNBA goes in, and who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit about that. We're only watching that because we're just watching a white girl get bullied by black people, right? We don't care enough about it. But my point is, that's what Biden is doing. You've an election, mate. Are you just trying to piss off everybody, right? And then he goes out this week, and again, I want to end this on a serious note. Within the last week, 2 females, 2 of our American ladies, one was a mother of 5, and another was a 12-year-old girl who, both of them, different states, raped, murdered, thrown into it. One woman, mother of 5, was out jogging, minding her business. Guy grabs her, rapes, murders, gone. In Texas, 2 Venezuelan men followed this 12-year-old girl, raped, strangled, threw her into a quarry or a ravine or river, whatever holds a bunch of water. And what do they all have in common? Illegal immigrants. They came over here illegal. Again, because I said this, shadow banned across the board. So please share this episode, right? It's not, when I say this, YouTube, which is owned by Google, will silence this episode. It doesn't get pushed out to people. So please do that for me if you could. But they are, so what do they all have in common? Of course, again, it's his policy. He goes out onto a fucking teleprompter and fucks up again. Wouldn't it be easier if we here's what you do. Don't bring Joe Biden out. Just turn the teleprompter around and let us read it. Let us read it. And then that way we don't have to listen to this fucking mummy fumble. Right? We don't have to listen to this mummy fumble. And then you have someone like, what's that fucking racist woman? The black woman who looks like a tennis ball. I don't know if she's on NBC or CNN. You know the one I'm talking about. She just hates white people, openly says it on TV, but gets like away with it. Like, can you imagine if anyone else said that? Like, you know what? I don't like Eskimos. You'd be fired. You would lose your job. But not this woman, not the guy from fucking Disney are not going to get fired because you know what? They're shitting on the certain race. But she went out and she had some fucking politician on about who's pro this illegal immigration thing, and she was saying, like, she was making fun of Fox. Now we all know Mick Thomas has been on Fox before. I'll be on Fox again, but I don't watch my news from mainstream at all. I don't watch it. But this bitch, she brings up two headlines, 3 headlines. One is NBC, one is Fox. One is NBC, one is CNN, the other one is Fox. She goes, look at this, NBC, CNN says Joe Biden is doing his best to conquer the immigration problem. And what's Fox headline? Is that 12-year-old girl raped by illegals. She's like, they're just fear-mongering. Is it fear-mongering? Is it? Fear-mongering is if you say, hey, illegals are going to come in, they're going to rape your daughters. That's fear-mongering. When illegals come in and rape your daughters, that's called fact. That's called actual news. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, we'll see what happens in November, right? Hopefully this all changes, and for the love of God, I hope people are safe. I hope whatever happens, it just works out for the best for all of us, for all people. And yeah, that's the episode. I got through a lot today. It went 4 minutes, 5 minutes now over my limit. All right, I gotta go. Listen, come see me live. Check it out. Share this episode. Subscribe and all of that stuff, yeah? Listen, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and listening. And as always, wash your hands, you dirty fuckers. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.